Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I have to admit that I knew that Zimbabwe had many problems. But I must admit that I didn't realize that the drug problem in Zimbabwe is as bad as it is. Here is a video clip that has been circulating on social media, which I'm sure many people will be shocked to learn.
Country and drank a drink secretly drugged by someone and then became a victim. So what is the country with the highest number of drug users? Fifth place, the UK, where approximately 18 out of every 1,000 people use illegal drugs. Fourth place, Canada, where approximately 19 out of every 1,000 people use illegal drugs. Third place, New Zealand, where drug consumption is more common among young people and drugs are easily accessible, with approximately 21 out of every 1,000 people illegally using drugs. The second place goes to Australia, where drug abuse is a serious issue at major music festivals and parties, with approximately 23 out of every 1,000 people illegally using drugs. Before announcing the first place in the comment section, write down what country you think has the highest number of drug users. The country ranked first has about 27 illegal drug users for every 1,000 people. This country is Zimbabwe.
I must admit, I didn't know that Zimbabwe's drug problem was that bad. Zimbabwe is a failed state. And for the last 45 years and counting, the country has been slipping into the abyss. Ever since the country's independence, we've been in trouble. Our problem, what is the root cause of our problem? Bad governance. The people of Zimbabwe have been plagued with the problem of bad governance for 45 years and counting. The main reason for it is the country has been stuck with this corrupt, incompetent, and tyrannical Zanu PF dictatorship for 45 years and counting. We really need to admit we've got a problem, and more seriously, to do something about it. This cannot carry on. The situation in Zimbabwe is a serious problem. What is unique about it is this is a man-made problem. We can solve the problem ourselves. If it's man-made, surely can be solved by mortals. And yet for 45 years, they failed to do so. It is heartening to hear that the youths are beginning to vocalize on the problem. Here is One Voice Youth Zimbabwe speaking on the matter.
Unoziva kuti inini ndinofunga kuti mawo veterans edu aya anofana kutotanga kutotudza chokwadi kutanga nhasi. Chero zvazvo hondo yakaitika isusu tisipo, isusu vacho vasina kumbobvira waona hondo, tinoda kuti mao veterans edu achitanga kubuda pachena kuti chii chakaitika. Mao veterans edu haangaramba akaviga chokwadi kusvika murufu. Isa hatidi kusiwa tisina chatinoziva. It is the time yekuti vachivhura miromo yavo vachitiudza chokwadi kuti chii chakaitika. Ini ndinofunga kuti mao veterans edu aya vakaenda kuhondo tisipa, kune chimwe chokwadi chavasina kutitaurira. Vanongotaura nezwi rimwe chete kuti tiri mao veterans takaenda kuhondo, kune vakafira kuhondo, kune vakaremadzwa. Isu tisu takasunungura nyika, asi ngavachitanga kushama miromo yavo vatiudze chokwadi kuti chii chakaitika. Nekuti imi makaenda kuhondo, nyika yeZimbabwe ikasununguka 1980. Kureva kuti ndipo patakawana independence munyika ine Zimbabwe chichiti hondo yapera. Saka kureva kuti vachena ndo dzanga dziri mhandu dzedu dzamairwisa imimi kuti nyika yeZimbabwe isununguke. Chii chakazoitika after 1980? Hapana kuzoita 7 years makabva maenda kunodeura ropa kukura hondo, makabva maenda kunouraya vanhu kuBulawayo, makazorwisana vanhu vatema sei? Imimi makasimuka pamwe chete muchiti handi tinorwisa vachena vati dzvanyerera. Chii chakazoitika? Kune chimwe chokwadi chinofana kuchibuda manje nekuti hondo yakapera. Chero zvototanga tisipo kuhondo kwacho, ende hazvirevi kuti zvamakaenda kuhondo isusu tisipo muchatitonga kusvika tafa. Toda kutoziva chokwadi, because mukati menyu mao veterans mune vanhu vaitoshanda nehurumende yaSmith. Toda kutovaziva titotanga kutovarwisa izvezvi vachiri vapenyu, vatisunungure. Ndosaka nyika yedu yeZimbabwe isingachinje, because kune chokwadi chamakawiga imimi vanhu vakaenda kuhondo imimi. It is the time yekuti muchitanga kubufura miromo yenyu kutaura kuti chii chakaitika. Hakuna election inoitwa muno munyika yeZimbabwe ropa pasina kudeurwa. Muno munyika yeZimbabwe ukaona vanhu vanoadapta vanhu nevari kuadaptwa, hapana kana muchena ipapo. Since 1980 hurumende yevachena yarowa pasi, up to day hakuna kana murungu akontesta paupresident munyika yeZimbabwe. Saka tiri kuurayana sei vanhu vatema? Kana makaenda kuhondo zveshuwa makadecida kuti handi tinosunungura nyika, makazobhitira Mugabe sei? Ngatipoti Mugabe aitadza kutonga. Saka nyika yacho makaenda kunosunungura zvakungotongwa nevatema chete. Kuti kutambura sei kuisusu vatema makatisunungurira nyika? Imari yekutambura nemacivil servant acho makasunungurira nyika. How many maZimbabweans ari kunze kwenyika vamakasunungurira nyika? Chikuita zei kugadzirisa nyika yacho makasunungura chii? Hakuna election inoitwa free and fair munyika yeZimbabwe, asi munoti makaenda kuhondo. Makaenda kuhondo kunoti anenge adyikwa election because of akaenda kuhondo ngaramba achitonga nyika. Then mauto opindira kana vanhu vapinda mumastreet kukontesta kuti mave election. I think it is this time yekuti muchitibudira pachena. Because nyika yeZimbabwe haichinje neelection kunyepa. Kuenda kuelection it's a wasting time. Kuenda kuelection neZanu PF muri kuenda kupati. Kunopemberera pati vakatenga vakatowina kudhara. Our country, Zimbabwe, haisitomboda election. If you are planning to launch a new party munyika yedu, uchifunga kuti unodefeata Zanu PF 2028 election, uri kunyepa. Unoti zvinyepera. Because even vawana proof yekuti vakaba election, unozoita sei? Unozoita sei? Inini I think kudai vanhu tabatana. Yasvika nguva yekuti tichigogodza madhozi evanhu vari kutishungurudza munyika muno. Yasvika nguva yekuti tobudisa mazita evanhu vacho vari kutishungurudza munyika muno, tichitonoka dzimba dzavo. It is the time akomana. Kana iyi hondo yakambotanga, tinotadza sei kuitanga futi? Kana hondo yakatombotanga baba ikapera 1980, varungu vacho vatoti vachena dzanga dziri mhandu dzedu vakasvika pakuenda. Ko isusu vanhu vatema tiri kuurayana sei? Tingatadza here kutanga hondo yedu isusu vanhu vatema? Chii chinoshamisira papa? How many election yakabiwa neZanu PF? Mugabe akatonga matemu mangana achidyiwa naMugabe. Izvezvi Mnangagwa ane 2 term dzaakadyiwa naPresident Nelson Chamisa. And do you think kuti anozongofuma achiti yadyiwa ndakuenda? zvenhoroondo dzekuhondo isati yade kuzvinzwa. We are tired nekuzwa zvinhu zvekupenga. We are tired nekusapota zvinhu zvisingatibatsiri. Nyika yacho yamakasunungura. We've got a lot of minerals in our own country. But Zimbabwe has to benefit anything. Zvichero zviri kuenda kuna na China, kuna na Dubai. Zvibudiswa na Chivhani. Mukadzi waMnangagwa achikontrola lithium nemagold. Mari yenyika ichikontrolwa nevana vake. Saka nyika yacho yamakanosunungura yacho ndeipa. Ima hamutoona kuti pane mhondo kwatiti inotodiwa apa. Hamuzvione izvozvo. It is the time yekuti vana makavhotera ma-MPs atichigogodza dzimba dzavo. Tichiwabvunza manje. Dzichasvika nguva kamanje yekuti vachenga kuti neperawo futi. Taigadzisa nyika izvozvo tichipa isusu tumwe mukana tichigadzirisa. Hakuna zvakadaro. Enough is enough in our own country. Enough is enough. This is bullshit. Hachaombere zvinhu zvakapusa. Kuombera kuti tiri maofeseri nzombere maoko hachaombere zvinhu zvakadzunga here. Sati tidye hondo tidya chikafu. We are tired. Since 1980 pacho pamakasunungura nyika. Chii chamaita? Chacho chamungati payakasiwa ipapo nevachena vacho vaikuti chanyirira. Chii chamakazoita? Makaondomorwa zvese. Zimbabweans hatichawirirana nezvezvo. Zvakatiri kuita. Mwana adhapi vanhu vakatarisa so because of zvematokerwo enyika. Wofunga futi iwewe kuti Chiwenga angachinje nyika ino. Wotofunga kuti Mnangagwa naNatagiri angachinje nyika ino. Iwe wakatadza since 1980 shamwari. Vanhu maZimbabweans ngativhure meso. Ngativhure meso tione so. It is not the time yekutombogadzirira kuenda kunovhota. It is the time yekuti futi todzwana kunyika ino yeZimbabwe. It is the time yekutotsvaga zvombo. Zveelection zviri kuramba munyika ino. Zveelection zviri kuramba. Mitemo yenyika yasunama. Zveelection zvaramba izvo. Ndogara ndichivataurira masoja. Hakumana tidzisei kubata pfuta hakumana. Tinoda kutozvibata kuti timbodziridza munyika ino. Because tikaramba tichisekerera vanhu ava hazvibudi. Because isusu tozvisiya zvedu kuti Mnangagwa achina haana nguva abva pachigaro. Tozvisiya futi. But munhu ari kupinda futi after Mnangagwa hatisi kumuda futi kuti atonge munhu. Because anga arimo futi part of these people they are oppressing us. The only way to destroy that is stupid mind kutongobata futi. Tokutozvipedza. Kuudza Zanu kuti ngatitei mareforms wachibvuma. Mugabe akasvika pakufa achiramba mareforms. Tozvisiya kaizvozvo.
Well, that was a mouthful. There are many things one can take from the young man's speech. But I'll just speak one or two. I think it is true that elections in Zimbabwe have failed to produce any meaningful change. That is the tragedy of Zimbabwe. After 45 years of independence, we have failed to hold free, fair, and credible elections. But what he, the young man, and many people out there have failed to appreciate is that in those 45 years, Zimbabwe did have many opportunities to end the Zanu PF dictatorship. That we cannot deny. We had the opportunity to end the Zanu PF dictatorship without having to resort to an armed struggle, which the young man was referring to. In any case, the armed struggle in Zimbabwe, fight to end white colonial rule, failed to deliver good governance, as we can see. So what makes you sure that your armed struggle this time would deliver good governance? The most important issue here is to realize that we had the opportunity to end the Zanu PF one-party state. notably during the 2008 to 2013 GNU. If you have failed to see the opportunities that GNU presented, you clearly have a problem. Because even if another opportunity was presented today, the chances are you'll miss it. Zimbabweans have failed to learn from the past. Here is on the screen is a survey done by Change Radio. And the title for it, if elections were held tomorrow, which presidential candidate will be good for young people's hopes and dreams in Zimbabwe? I suppose it was addressing the same young man who was talking here. And this is what Change Radio found out. Interesting results. Mohadi, 18. General Chiwenga, 87. Chamisa, 1,700. Tendai Beti, 32. Opol Chinono, 16. Pazai Mayer, 169. And so on and so forth. What is important here is that these young men are the same ones as the young man who was speaking earlier on. In one breath, he acknowledged that Zimbabwe's electoral process has failed to produce a legitimate government. And yet when he was asked if elections are held tomorrow, he immediately jumped on the bandwagon. You have acknowledged the elections are not free, fair, and credible, and yet you are prepared to participate. This is hopeless. Zanu PF has managed to rig elections for the last 45 years. The last 25 of which they've managed to rig elections with the help of MDC CCC party. They're the ones who failed to implement even one token reform during the GNU when they had the golden opportunity to do so. Nelson Chamisa is on record telling people that his party was going to win big. They should participate in the 2023 elections, for example. Telling people what the young man in the earlier audio was saying, that the election process is so flawed, it can never deliver any change. And yet Chamisa was telling them, the same people, that it will deliver change because I've plugged all the vote-rigging loopholes. And millions of them believed him. And so they participated in the 2023 elections. This was not the first time they've done it. In 2018, the same thing. Chamisa told the people that MDC Alliance had stringent measures to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. The day after the elections, the voting was done. He was the one who was admitting that Zanu PF had rigged the elections. As long as we have got an electorate that is so gullible, they keep on participating in flawed elections, giving Zanu PF legitimacy. This cycle will never break it. the suggestion that somehow taking up arms and going back to another armed struggle is a solution to those who refuse to think. Because why would you go for another armed struggle when you do have a solution which you can apply if you apply your mind? Zanu PF is relying on the weakness of the opposition. Mnangagwa knows that as long as he is able to bribe the opposition, MDC, Triple C guys to participate in these flawed elections, he can rig elections and get away with it. At least the opposition leaders, Chamisa and company, are getting something out of this whole sad electoral rigged elections. The greatest loser are the ordinary Zimbabweans. Why do you keep on participating in an election process that is so flawed, so illegal? The only logical thing to do is to withdraw. When you've been told that if you do participate, you're giving Zanu PF legitimacy and perpetuating your own suffering. But along comes Chamisa. He promises you that he's going to win rigged elections this time. He's plugged all the vote rigging loopholes when he could not even deliver a verified voters roll, and you believe him, and you participate. The problem with Zimbabwe, yes, is one of bad governance. Yes, we have got Zanu PF ruling elite who believe they have the divine right to rule the country. And they have brainwashed the war veterans into believing and endorsing that position. Mnangagwa has been trying to bribe the war veterans to keep them in line. But even they have got to wake up to the reality. How many times has Mnangagwa and Zanu PF promised them a good life, only to forget them as soon as they've secured power? This is not going to be the last time they're going to do it. All the promises that Mnangagwa is making to make life better for the war veterans, it's an empty promise. As the country's economy continues to deteriorate, the war veterans will be joining the millions of ordinary Zimbabweans living in abject poverty. The war veterans are naive to believe that they can live a comfortable life in a country whose basic infrastructure, like roads, schools, hospitals, have all but collapsed. What is the point of war veterans being assured that they can have free hospital treatment at all the public hospitals, when in reality, even some of those big hospitals like Pararenyatwa do not even have painkiller. Your entitlement means nothing. And yet the ruling elite, Mnangagwa and company, each time they are sick, they go out of the country for their healthcare needs. For their children's education, they are sent out of the country. Mugabe and his family are living in luxury because during Mugabe's rule, Grace Mugabe and the children siphoned out of the country millions of dollars. Mnangagwa is doing the same thing. This is why Zimbabwe is a failed state. As for the opposition sold out during the GNU of 2008 to 2013. Ever since they've been participating in these flawed elections out of greed. Why some people continue to refuse to open their eyes and see the reality of what is going on beggars belief. The same youth we're talking about, Zimbabwe will never change as a result of an electoral process because the process is so flawed. He is the same individual who tomorrow will be joining Chamisa, convinced that Chamisa can plug all the vote rigging loopholes to stop Zanu PF rigging the elections. That level of naivety is what is the problem in Zimbabwe. We have a people who are so gullible, they believe anything they are told. That is our problem. Taking up guns is not going to solve it. We just need an electorate that is prepared to sit back and think. The solution to Zimbabwe's failed bad governance is staring us in the face. If people do not participate in 2028 elections without reforms, Zanu PF will be denied political legitimacy. The country will revert back to the same position that we had in 2008. Have a government of national unity. And this time the people should have their eyes on the ball. Focus on, we want democratic reforms. We want to have a meaningful say in the governance of the country. Implement the reforms, and Zimbabwe will be back on a democratic footing. And from there on, we can start rebuilding the nation. There is nothing magical about Zimbabwe. Other countries, our neighbors like Botswana, have enjoyed good governance and they're doing well. South Africa, they're doing well. There's nothing magical about Zimbabwe. We only need to address the problem of rigged elections and bad governance. And the starting point is stop participating in flawed elections. Why that is a mystery beggars belief. Think about it. Thank you and have a good night.